and I love all of you. So I have, some are dark, some are fun. It's the holy trinity of like girlhood, working in a cubicle, and America.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the dark trilogy we have here, yes. And I tried to find an order, we'll see what happens. This first one, oh, and I don't actually have books for sale. If you do, or if you're interested in Disappearing Act, it's a hardcover. That's a lot to bring, you know. But I have bookmarks that have my dog Hacksaw on them. So please do get a bookmark after. Everything lost is found. The ring down the drain, the voicemail you left just a little too late, the trophy freed from its case, a faded 20 found in a pair of jeans, the alternative to alternatives, an asterisk inside an ask. Every punishment that didn't hurt, all the love that did. One laughable mistake. A plastic clover hung from house keys, your lucky break. A collection of tender things for which there are no names. An hour of silence followed by a scoop of ice cream. Risk rewarded. All the colorful houses you passed as a child, not one of them burned down. And this one, I always read this, so my husband Jared could not be here because he is with the dog baby in Philadelphia. But this is for him. I love this poem, and we're actually doubling down. We are not moving to the suburbs. We are moving within Philadelphia, like next month. But this is Sometimes I Want to Move to the Suburbs, and it is still true. Sometimes I want to move to the suburbs, though we don't have any children. Saturday mornings, I want to be in my own fluorescent basement, cheating a plastic puck through a goal, knuckles red as a stop sign. I want to swim in a pool shaped like a kidney bean. I've never opened my eyes underwater. I blamed the chlorine, then sharks. There was always fear to kill my curiosity. What if no one can tell me the right move? If this is all wrong, if this is not who I am, or if this is who I could be, soaked by rain and saved by sun, made new, greener in the suburbs. I can't tell me anything tonight. I can't remember a time I walked the dog and felt safe in any city. Pick a city. This is a fact I don't tell myself, holding my face up to the light, examining one fat pupil, then the other in the bathroom mirror, looking for signs of life. I get stranger every year I live away from the house where I first watched all dogs go to heaven. Ever since, I've been watched by men on train cars and sidewalks and grocery stores. I want a G-rated Halloween, just once, to take a fistful of Butterfingers from a bowl, the fun-size wrappers light in my palm. I want children with severed heads to ring my doorbell. I want to know who I am when I answer. There is an order, actually, because that led me into thinking about a very political poem I wrote. Allison, I think you're the only one who actually heard this aloud when we read together right after the inauguration, or right before? It was imminent. It was a dark time. It is a dark time. This is called 47. Yeah. What we call ourselves is what we are. But the silkworm was named by a human, and it's actually a baby moth. How does one make sense? A little joke, a thought unprovoked. Last night I went to bed in a swing state. I had hope. My husband said he wished he could have woken me in the night to say she had won. Sunlight, it's Americans, not America, I'm thinking of. The someone I love who traveled thousands of miles to have an abortion. How she was given art that now hangs in my bedroom. Some things are true and still good. But we were taught to recite the Pledge of Allegiance in school, to perform songs about bombs bursting in air. I was a red-faced show choir kid in black pants, a clean white shirt, freckled and afraid. What was I for? Most forced confessions don't get thrown out. You need to know, if not understand, in order to live. Whole people have been meat-hooked by history, by laws written and revoked. We reserved every right, but they left us polling in our own blood. I vote for the qualified candidate, but receive the brute instead. They said to use blue or black pen. They warned us this could happen again. It only gets darker, but now darker in girlhood. This next one is called Averno. After really the whole Louise Gluck collection, which I highly recommend. It lives in my nightstand. That's a weird little totem I bring around. It does borrow a line from Averno, which is, I think it's just, you have to prepare. And I really like to cite my sources, even if it's like 4 words. It's from that spiritually. I didn't live the nights she held under her tongue like a pill. We were just girls. We were not good or bad. We jackknifed into the world, chatted strangers online, listened to grown women scream on our CDs, ate pretzels by the bag, pushed every window open. In 6th grade, Go Die was her comeback. Incessant and impersonal until it wasn't. At the funeral home years later, her mother said my full name like a spell. She said, I know. She said, it's so bad. I couldn't breathe in the wood-paneled room, reviewing the photos crisscrossed on foam boards, every 2D memory, my cheek pressed to her daughter's in none of them. Years since I had been her best friend. After she died, she came to me in a yellow terry cloth hoodie zipped up to the throat, wordless and blonde. I woke up thinking, you have to prepare. I wonder what she meant. Perched on my bed, if I had any right to conjure her, if I could have been anything, like we believed, eating sandy plums on the beach, if I could have lost myself, floating in her pool, drowning something nameless. Girls today, I've heard them say. Oh, you can do a little snap. I'm sorry, I know it's a lot of clapping. It's a lot. We could do the Nicole Kidman of like, you know, the little fountain clap. I do. If your hands hurt, you can fountain. This one is called Dear. Oh, I have some email poems. We love an email poem. Dear, your last email said you built me a dream house, but you couldn't live in it. There was one night we stood a person apart, 2 shadows lost in a concert crowd. I could have touched your hand. Remember the plastic ring I wore, whirling on my index finger like a weather vane. But I was your vacation home. When we spoke on the phone, I was drunk on a beach. My friends were asleep. I twirled my hair as we talked, and I thought this was love. The beginning of everything. Garden state and oblivion rolled into one. I didn't know you had a wife. For years, I saved the paper XO you cut and mailed to me. The photos we sent each other were innocent. You in a lab coat, me at my IKEA desk. I was not too young to know the signs or to look for them. I had already been loved and left by a boy who skulked away properly, resurfacing with a new love overnight. You were a man who knew things I wouldn't for at least a decade, and things I never will. How many young women you hid in the archives. The way you addressed me, Jay, solitary as a scrap. Does anyone work in a cubicle or just like in a sad corporate office? Like, right, many of us. So I started there. And it's been a lot of good fodder lately thinking about what that world is like, spatially even. So this one, you know those memes like how your email found me and then it's like in a fire or something? I did write this one, your email found me in hell. And this was also like a Hitler-Trump kind of thing. I was thinking about this and the idea of work and work camps, and it took a very dark turn, and that was the thing. Your email found me in hell. Has work ever set anyone free? I drag my feet on the gray screensaver carpet, try to remember a list of keywords just to delete them later. Part of my job is knowing how to have a job, which I am learning. Here, an average morning looks like best, regards, smiley face, see below. A new thread, an attachment that will not load. I write what I know. Let's circle back. Die a little, wonder who came up with that. I am a pulse pounding inside of a button-down shirt, daydreaming of my college classroom, the promises I made to myself as a girl. Distracted, knowing there must be something my inbox forgot. I scroll through replies, set myself to away, though I'm still in here. I draw cartoons on sticky notes and leave them unexamined, an inside joke for one. Every month, the federal government emails me to thank me for my student loan payment. My private lender would never. They still have thousands more to gain. I miss studying for tests, if you can believe that. The campus library with green desk lamps and warm light. All I did was borrow, and now the debt must be repaid. I've often wondered where you'd shelve the book of Revelation. I used to think it was plural, one begetting another, like having an imagination. At 5 p.m., I plead myself into the future, try to guess what comes after. Do you want another work poem? I got another work poem. Is that I know, we're deep in it, that's it. This one is TGIF, which it's exciting when I get to read it on a Friday. I do like that. TGIF. I save too much as it is. In fact, I was once offered a job managing documents for an insurance company that no longer exists. The hiring manager said I had a knack for filing things away, all those hours underlining things inside a thick white binder, the one they gave me as a temp. I was 23. Instead, I took a writing job down the hall. Flood, umbrella, bedbugs, break-ins, and condos. I wore headphones. I wrote in cubicles. Later, in open floor plans encased in glass. I would nod at people on my way to the bathroom. I coached myself in the hall. Don't be so... I couldn't see out of my mind's eye. I took the chances I was given. I played different parts at my desk, in the conference room, in dreams, oscillated between performance reviews, melancholy, the food truck with burritos, the one with grain bowls and homemade green goddess dressing. I heard what I did was called multitasking, swiping badges to gain access, bullet points so as not to miss the point. I discussed revenue. I knew the bottom line. I could have gone to pastry school, but I couldn't get the required hours in a professional kitchen. I ventured far from the grid, where the streets sloped in all directions. I met with a man at a shop that sold milk, cookies, and coffee drinks. It rained that morning. The sky was an open incision. I'm a quick study, a fast learner. I said, I promise you won't regret it. He said he didn't have time to teach me what I needed to learn. Like what? Like foam art. All these jobs call for entry level. When I couldn't find an entrance, I carved out a window. Three more feels like a lot. Does it feel like a lot? 3 more is okay? Okay. When you're up here, you're like, oh, I was born here, and I'll die here. So sorry, yes. Speaking of birth, this one's called Baby Names. And this is for everybody who has felt like they were supposed to have kids and it wasn't for them. And also for people who desperately want kids and should get to have them. It is for all of these groups. Baby names. Before dogs that came with their own given names, my pets were nameless. I did not know their ages, their genders. They lived in cages. My leopard geckos, my yellow parakeet. There was also the crayfish I took home from school and hid behind discards on my dresser, sorry and afraid. 6 months we lived that way. A carnival frog, no bigger than a thimble, dead in 7 days. I flushed or buried them, beloved or not. In all that time, I don't remember ever holding a pillow under my t-shirt and standing sideways at a long mirror, an empty vessel. You'll have 2 children, a psychic told me, barring miscarriages or abortions. Fine print already written in the stars. Did she say the same to all young girls? There were a few things I knew. Not every prophecy must be fulfilled. A boyfriend said, one day, someday, kindly, as if I were ill. Another said, but you would be such a good mother. They each had babies, with names coated in nectar and rock salt. A relative said, when you're 31, or was it 32, you'll want to. He said, just wait, the thought will consume you. And it didn't. Keeps going. Yeah. Kids are great. Kids are great. Just not for me. Okay. This is Someone You Love. This is also, I have another Halloween and child poem. Someone You Love. Santa is my favorite trick-or-treater of the night. Her elves wait behind her on the porch as she weighs her options, touching every candy with care. Each elf takes a hand as she ambles down the steps. The sun slinks lower. I hate that if I ever see Santa again, I won't know her. After we turn off the porch light, my mom brings out the family jewelry for me to try on. Her dad's gold wedding band, a tie pin sharp as a bone, a bracelet with ivory beads. I adorn myself with every offering. I only want to sit here on the floor in her house in Maine, my bare feet on the carpet, a window overlooking the remains of a tree some teenagers crashed a car into the other night. No one was harmed, they said, not counting the tree. The smatter of red, yellow, green, like a traffic light dismembered on the ground. The stump wounded as a heart, a trick of the moonlight. After the Lewiston shooting, no, during, I suppose, I dazed. Strange to be visiting this week of all weeks. I thought, who? What are the chances? I was dread. I was alive. When I read the names of the dead, I swallowed a thread from the present to the past, back to a time when someone I loved called me Geordie. Now plastic gravestones line a neighbor's path, all the crescent moons pulped into pumpkins lit from within. There's a 6-foot-tall skeleton on the corner, naked. Here we have horror, defanged, friendly even, bent forward as if to welcome us home. No one alive calls me Geordie, and I miss that. I miss Santa and her soft red hat. And then my last poem is Allison, who also, shout out, drove me to Amtrak and sat with me. That's right. I got the real show. That's great. This is my final poem, Earth 2024. This is an alien poem because I love aliens. Yeah. Do any of you love aliens? If you love aliens, do you also love ghosts?
Yeah.
Is it right? I was like, it's a circle. That's okay. I love, yes. Thank you. See me after class. Earth 2024. Some things are finite, or made only to answer. Can we do better? The human brain, its fading signals. In movies, we always ask aliens why. Why us? Why now? Never, are you hungry? Let me take your coat. Here, have a drink. Let's make ourselves dizzy. Welcome to my world, meaning I'm here to live until I die. How do you identify? I've spent years looking down at the ground, at used needles, bits of broken glass, a lost little sock. Life on my home planet is cruel, and at times excellent. We have war. We have yellow cake. We play games. People say, let me ask you a question, which is not a question. Every day, we load trash in trucks. Where does it go? Trees send signals through their roots, not the leaves, not the part we can see. Thank you.